All right. So the test is computer based. The students have to create an account and schedule the appointment, book the date, and take the test in the Pearson authorized center. You can see in the pictures. Okay, so it's a completely computer delivered test. There's no paper based test available for PT Academic. And it is also computer assessed test. You can call PT Academic 100% computer based test because the test is taken on the computer and the assessment is also done by the computer. All right. So look at this one. PT Academic is scored using automated scoring. So there is no human intervention as far as the assessment is concerned in the PT Academic. So the automatic scoring system is based on complex algorithms that were trained by testing data sample of over 10,000 students from 126 countries who speak 90 languages. Okay, so the standard error measurement between Pearson system and human data versus human data is very limited. So this is more accurate, I would say. So many of you have heard that PT uses artificial intelligence. Now today we live in a world where artificial intelligence is used in many things, right from your mobile phone to so your maps, your cars sometimes. So PT also uses artificial intelligence. AI scoring which means you are not only the test taker is not simply assessed by a human being. I mean one data. So AI means PT is using the intelligence of many evaluators. So when one evaluator evaluates, there can be error. But when the system is mimicking, when the AI is mimicking multiple evaluators, there is less scope for the error. All right. So when you take the PT Academic test, that means when your test taker takes the PT Academic test, the test taker is graded by AI, artificial intelligence, against thousands of previous responses. As a trainer, you must understand every time your candidate is performing a productive skill, which is speaking or listening, the responses will be captured by the system and the AI is going to assess them using thousands of sample response, which are already there in PT database. Okay. So I think this is the biggest question that you get when you start training PT Academic. The computer is evaluating the candidates' performance in productive skills, but how is it doing? It is using thousands of sample responses that are already available for the same question, and it is assessing. So integrated task is nothing but when a test taker performs a question or a particular task, if he is using more than one skill, and if he's rated or if he is scored on more than one skill, it is called an integrated tasks. So there are in PT Academic 20 variety of questions. So each variety of question, each task of question, each type of question, the terminology that we use for each type is item type is the standard terminology that PT uses. This is what item type, or you call each type of question type. All right. So there are in PT Academic 20 types of questions. In speaking, there are 5 types of questions. In writing, there are 2 types of questions. In reading, there are again 5 types of questions. In listening, there are 8 types of questions. In these 20 types of questions, 11 question types are integrated. Okay, which means more than 50% of PT Academics question types or item types are integrated, which gives score more than one skill. So let's look at the list, and these are the number of question types that are there in PT Academic. These are the integrated number of question types in PT Academic, and this is, you can see the number of integrated tasks that come in the exam. The number of integrated. This is the quantity of the questions which are integrated in the exam. All right. So these are the question types. You can see read aloud is number 1 integrated question type, which is in speaking module. The skill 1 is speaking. Skill 2 is reading, since the candidate reads. Repeat sentence, speaking and listening. Read a lecture, speaking and listening. Answer short question, speaking and listening. And coming to the writing section, summarize written text, writing and reading. And in the reading section, again, we have an integrated question. Only one integrated question we have in the reading section, that is fill in the blanks, reading and writing. So this is fill in the blanks, reading and writing, which integrates reading and writing. Summarize spoken text in the listening module, which integrates both the modules, both the skills, listening and writing. Fill in the blanks, listening and writing. Highlight correct summary, which integrates for a change, listening and reading. Highlight incorrect words, listening and reading. Write from dictation, listening and writing. So you can see the integration, skill 1 and skill 2. So 2 skills are getting integrated in these questions. 2 skills are given score in these question types. There are 11 question types you can count. I'm moving to the next slide. So the communicative skills are 4: speaking, writing, reading, listening. All right. The speaking and writing are called productive communicative skills, where the test taker produces the communication. Yes. And the receptive communicative skills are reading and listening, where the candidates or the test taker receives the information. Yes. So these are receptive communicative skills, and these are productive communicative skills. PTE, on the PTE scorecard, you get to see the scores of productive and the receptive communicative skills like any other test. All right. So let's go to the next one. So integrated sub-skills in each communicative skills. Let's understand. In the listening, again, we have sub-skills that are utilized. So when your candidate is listening to a particular audio, so the sub-skills that are needed, that are tested are, will he be able to identify the topic? The theme, is he able to identify, is she able to identify the theme or main ideas? And the other one is understanding the vocabulary that is coming from the audio and inferring to the meaning of unfamiliar words. In an audio of maybe 150 words, there are 10 to 12 words that are unfamiliar with the test taker. The test taker doesn't understand maybe 5-6 words. Let's take an example of 5-6 words. Will he be able to, or will she be able to, is she able to, or is he able to identify, assume the meaning of those words or not? This is also tested in listening as a sub-skill. So 3 things that are tested as sub-skills in listening, which are needed in listening: topic, identifying the topic or the main idea, which you do in retail lecture, and summarize spoken text, guys, mainly. All right. If those who are already into PD training, so this is applicable there. And going to the listening, the sub-skills that are utilized in speaking module are speaking for a purpose. In repeat sentence like question, the purpose of speaking is to repeat. Okay. And in describe image kind of question, the purpose of speaking is to explain. All right. Probably in a retail lecture kind of question, the purpose is to probably inform or explain, both. Okay. In read aloud, probably you are going to inform. So there is always sub-skill that is needed in the main communicative skills. You can see one more sub-skill in that: using words and phrases appropriate to the context. Using the relevant words is also one of the sub-skill in speaking. Speaking under timed conditions. So the speaking questions are timed. The candidate cannot take ample amount of time or any time to produce the answers. They're all timed. Therefore, sticking to the timelines is also one of the sub-skill that is necessary. That's called integration. So you can see the writing sub-skills: writing for a purpose, supporting an opinion with details, examples and explanations, organizing sentences, paragraphs in a logical way, developing complex and compound ideas, during the essay, using correct grammar, using the correct spelling, using the correct mechanics, writing under time conditions. These are the, again, sub-skills in the writing section. The sub-skills that are of listening and reading more or less same. So in your summarized written text question, when you explain to the candidate, you also ask the candidate to identify the main theme, right? So listening sub-skills and reading sub-skills are more or less same. That's the reason they are not mentioned in the presentation. So these are the things. So communicative skills and enabling skills. Let's understand communicative skills and enabling skills. The one you can see on the screen is PT Academic sample scorecard, where you can see overall score and communicative skills score here. So let me use a pen here. This is the area for communicative skills. So listening, reading, speaking, and writing. And this is the area for enabling skills. There are 6 enabling skills and 4 communicative skills. So communicative skills we already discussed, and the score range for communicative skills is 10 to 90. The minimum score in PT Academic is not 0. The minimum score in PT Academic is 10. The maximum score in PT Academic is capped at 90. It cannot go further. So enabling skills are the skills which let the candidate perform well in communicative skills. For example, if I'm writing as a test taker, I need to have grammar. I need to use the better grammar. I need to use better spellings, right? Vocabulary, and I should write with complex and compound sentences in the logical order with structure, development, and coherence, right? So enabling skills are the sub-skills of, I repeat, enabling skills are the sub-skills of productive communicative skills, which are speaking and writing. So we have 6 enabling skills. So these enabling skills do not have any role to play as far as the university admission is concerned, as far as the PR application is concerned. So these are given on the scorecard. These are published on the scorecard just to intimate the candidate what are the areas of improvement where he or she can plug the gap for the next attempt or for his future professional English improvement or academic English improvement. Okay, let's move on to next slide. So let's look at each one in a brief way. I think most of you know what is grammar, what is oral fluency. So grammar as enabling skill is nothing but correct use of language with respect to word form, word order at a sentence level. Okay, this is grammar. And oral fluency is nothing but smooth, effortless, natural speed of delivery. Okay, fine. Oral fluency is nothing but, guys, smooth, effortless, and natural delivery of the speech. When the candidate is performing read aloud, repeat sentence, describe image, detail lecture, unshort question, he should have a smooth, effortless, and natural pace, in terms of speech, basically. So pronunciation is nothing but the candidate is expected to speak, expected to utter the words in the standard way, without heavy MTI and all. So that's the thing. Spelling, writing the accurate spellings is needed in the writing task question, something like summarize written text, essay, summarize spoken text, fill in the blanks, listening, and write from dictation. You're expected to, the text taker is expected to write the perfect spellings. In one question, for example, the test taker is writing an essay. He should use either all US spellings or all UK spellings. There should not be mixing and matching of the spellings in one task at least. That's something you should tell your test takers. You should recommend your test takers to get a better score in spellings. And vocabulary, using appropriate choice of words to express the meaning, as well as good lexical range, LR. Those trainers who are into IELTS training, primarily, you understand this lexical range as you generally use lexical resource. That's the jargon that IELTS uses. Lexical resource, in the other tests you call it, but in PT Academic, the candidate's variety of words, relevant words is called lexical range. Written discourse, correct and communicatively efficient production of written language at the textual level. Written discourse skills are represented in the structure of written text, its internal coherence, lexical development, and the range of linguistic resources used to express meaning precisely. This is written discourse. So in written discourse, some sub areas I would like to bring to your notice that are, say, coherence is one, probably structure and development, his or her ability to write complex and compound sentences. So these are the 3 things that you can relate to written discourse in a nutshell. Let's go to next one. So the score comparison between PT Academic and IELTS. You can see, guys, this is PT Academic score 10 to 90, 10 to 90. And you can see underneath that the IELTS scores 4.5, 5, 6, and 9. You can get it on Pearson's official website. When you want to convert PT score into IELTS equivalent score, you can do it, and TOEFL also you can do it. So predominantly your test takers are generally looking for either 50 marks in PT, 58 marks in PT, 65 marks in PT, or 79 marks in PT Academic. You generally train students for these 4 scores. Okay, so which equivalent to 6 bands, 6.5 bands, 7 bands, 8 bands. You can see 50 in PT, 60 marks in IELTS, 58 in PT, 6.5 in IELTS. A score of 65 marks and above is 7 bands in IELTS, and a score of 79 marks is 8 bands in IELTS. So the PT test structure, modules, and overall duration. I'll try to explain in a zippy. Okay, so first one, when the candidate gets into the examination center, occupies the seat, the first thing to happen is checking of microphone and headphone both. So there is a process for that. There is a small task that the candidate can perform. It's a checking process, basically, whether the microphone is working properly fine, or whether the headphones are working fine. That can be checked. The administrator will help in that matter. So once the candidate is settled in the seat, wearing headphones and microphone, he has to or she has to do personal introduction or introduction, which is not timed. But if you ask me, on the with most of the test takers are given 30 seconds of preparation time and 25 seconds of preparation time, 25 seconds of preparation time, and 30 seconds of answering time. So in 30 seconds of time, the candidate has to talk about his details like name, educational background, probably experience, what is the purpose of taking PT. I think these are the four main things. So in the first introduction, your candidate has to speak about his educational background, experience background, purpose of taking PT. These are the three major things along with the full name that is printed in the passport. All right. And this item, this one, introduction, is not at all scored. It is not a scored item. So then again, part one of PT academic is speaking and writing both together. So the duration of part one is 77 minutes minimum, 93 minutes maximum. In the PT academic test, there is no stipulation, there is no prefix time, like in the test like IELTS, the writing's duration is exactly 60 minutes, right? If I'm not wrong, the listening's duration is 30 minutes, something like this. I'm just taking an example. But in PT academic, for all the modules, speaking, writing, reading, listening, you always have the range. So minimum time, maximum time. There's no stipulated amount of time for any module in the PT academic. All right. So speaking and writing are together. These are the two productive communicative skills are together. So the duration of these two modules is 77 minutes to 93 minutes. Then the reading happens next. The reading's duration is 32 minutes to 41 minutes time. And there is a 10 minutes optional break. It's not a mandatory break. If your candidate wants to take the break, let him take the break. If the candidate doesn't want to take the break, if he is in the full rhythm, he wants to finish the test, let him finish the test. Don't force him for anything. And listening at the end, which is the third part, once 10 minutes break is over, the candidate enters into listening module, wherein he spends 45 minutes to 57 minutes time. That's the duration of listening.